perhaps we can ask Dimitri if there's a way of that, you know, we can start thinking about taking things out of our minds, because I know I go onto a chain, and it's very hard for me to stop the chain. There's one thought leads to another, you know.
We can check this, yeah.
Maybe there's something in the, you know.
So let's say we have now stream of thoughts and we are agitated, which is fine. Just very simple, stop fighting with it. Because when you fight with that, who is fighting is the same who is thinking and agitated. Right? So just don't fight even with the fighting. Yeah, you can allow everything to be as it is, allowing yourself just to be whatever it is. Yeah, there are appearances when we appear and we like our appearance. And there are sometimes appearances which we don't like.
But they're all similar.
Now the one who appears and the one who likes and dislikes is the same. It's the same not just on the surface, but also in the depths. These projections appear as different eyes. Yeah. Now I am like that. After a moment, I am something different. Yeah. And this all has to do with our identification with a particular feeling, thought, image, belief, object, thought, whatever. Doesn't matter. The key word here is identification. Now, you don't need to fight identification. You cannot, because to fight identification, you need to identify with a fighter against identification. All right. Dropping all identification means dropping also the dropping of identification as well. Just not doing anything. And first step, when we have a strong stream of thoughts, when we have agitation, how we retreat from all of that. Yeah, how we, and for me, the best way is to recognize your breathing. So simple. Just start watching your breathing. This immediately takes your attention inward. So let's pay attention to the breathing. Allowing everything to be completely. Doesn't matter what you feel, what the thought stream is. So when you have some time, like now we are together and you have some time, you dedicate this time to this. Watching the breathing would be the easiest method. We can later speak about other situations, what you can do. But really, the true answer is you do nothing. When you recognize the agitation, when you recognized the stream of thoughts, how powerful it is, and you feel something is going on, and different feelings, emotions arise. But when you noticed all of that, who is the one who is aware of all of that? right? Isn't it the awareness itself? And you can check at the same moment, is the awareness of your state also agitated, also has these feelings, emotions, or awareness is free of all that. Yeah, it's not an invitation to believe what I say. It's an invitation to check now, to see. And then you can drop back to the breathing. And drop back to the breathing. It doesn't mean to breathe in a particular way. No, it's just awareness of the breathing. And you are capable to allow everything to be, whatever you feel. Doesn't matter. You just watch the breathing. And the invitation is not to try to stop the thoughts, not to stop doing anything, not to stop living. The invitation is to find the source of life, which means recognize what living fully is. To recognize not by the mind, because mind is just one of the attributes of life. It's not the life itself. Obviously, life gives energy to the mind. Mind exists because of source of life. But what mind can understand about this? Any understanding is temporary, based on the past moment. And the life is not in the past. The thoughts are always in the past. It cannot be otherwise. But the life is now. And this now is always fresh. much more ancient than the mind, but fresh. And then once you observed your thoughts for your breathing for a bit, you can again notice the stream of thoughts. And what I mean, you don't look on the content of the thoughts. You look on the gap between the thoughts. So our mind is trained to deal with objects, with the content. And it completely overlooks the gap. But the gaps, the thoughts are so small, maybe even non-existing. But when you recognize the gap, or the gaps, you can start with the gaps between two thoughts. Seeing the thought starting, finishing, what immediately after. Pay attention to that. Invitation is not to acquire a new state where you calm like a rock. Well, I don't know. It doesn't work like this. You are alive with all the attributes of life. Your body is capable of feelings, of emotions, instincts. Some of them you might not want, and you fight them. Some of them you want, and you try to capture them. Nothing works. So the invitation is not to get rid of anything, but rather to stop. Stop looking for something. Stop avoiding particular feelings. Usually when the mind stream is very strong, it's fed by an emotion which is going on in the current moment. And mind, as always, it likes to put everything to understand. It gives a sense of security. Temporary, but gives something. So the mind tries to explain why I feel a certain way while there is an emotion. But once you recognize the stream of thoughts, you can let go of the story of the mind and meet the emotion itself. Because whatever mind says, it's not what you feel. It's just a thought about the feeling. and you can open to the feeling itself. When you open to the feeling, you go deeper into yourself. When the feeling is nice and you move towards the feeling, you find that you cannot capture the nice feeling. The life is moving on. You start feeling the time and the fact that you cannot grasp it. When you try to avoid an unpleasant feeling, unpleasant emotion, you're actually avoiding what is now, avoiding life. And you're suppressing this emotion as well. And it's stored in your, some people say, I feel some emotions, but I feel them like they're on the periphery. I don't mind about them. The truth is that whoever says like this, he is on the periphery. The mind is on the periphery. But the emotion is in the center or on the way towards the center. When you open to what is, without fighting with the mind, allowing mind to speak, let it speak. And you just meet the emotion. This is the fact which is here and now. You find that there is no problem with any of these. Usually what happens, people have layers of these suppressed emotions. So this is where emotional inquiry can get very useful. When you just open to the first emotion and then go through all the layers. But after that, you can meet yourself. You find that the monster is not that scary. It's much more problematic to avoid the moment, whatever the moment is. It doesn't help. And the mind, obviously, the habitual movements of mind will want to stay in control. No problem. Let the mind try to control. You can just be vigilant. You can just be. And see what is the mind made of. When I say see, I don't mean with your eyes. I don't mean with any of the five senses. When you go towards senses, it's too far. So awakening to the truth of who you are is not acquiring anything. Is more like letting go of everything. Like when you go to sleep, you know this. Every night you go to sleep, you let go of everything. You hug your pillow and you let go. Right? And this letting go is total. Then you meet the totality. Everything is included in this. All states, all levels, everything, all beings, whole cosmos.